You know what always goes up? My credit card bills at Hermes. But the stock market? Well, honey, that is a whole different conversation, and one that might save you from dating another broke boy who thinks Red Lobster is fine dining. See, everyone keeps saying the stock market always goes up, just like how I always demand the finest things in life. But recently, something called DeepSeek just wiped out over $2 trillion from American tech stocks in a single day. Yes, you heard that right, $2 trillion. That is more money than most countries have, and it vanished faster than my patience when someone suggests we split the check. But here is what really gets me fired up. While we are talking about market volatility, there is something even more shocking happening to women and money. Less than half of women over 25 have any retirement savings at all. Less than half. Meanwhile, 59% of women say they do not earn enough to save for retirement. That is not a market problem, darling. That is a priorities problem. Now let me tell you something about the financial literacy gender gap, because it makes me madder than seeing someone wear polyester to a charity gala. Women score 25% lower on financial literacy tests than men, even though we show no difference in math skills or overall intelligence. 25%. That means we are walking around financially illiterate while men are making all the money decisions. And get this, only 16% of women aged 40 to 65 have ever received any financial education. 16%. We spend more time researching which foundation matches our skin tone than we do learning how to build generational wealth. No wonder the average man retires with twice the pension savings of the average woman. Twice. The gender pension gap is so brutal that a girl would need to start saving for retirement at 3 years old to retire with the same amount as men, 3 years old. While little boys are playing with trucks, little girls would need to be opening retirement accounts just to break even. This is not cute. This is catastrophic. Speaking of DeepSeek, this Chinese artificial intelligence company basically walked into Silicon Valley wearing a knockoff Chanel suit and proved they could do everything for $5.6 million that American companies spend billions on. NVIDIA lost $589 billion in market value in one day. $589 billion. That is the biggest single-day loss in stock market history. Bigger than what most people lose when they marry poor. But you know what is worse than a market crash? Women being so financially unprepared that 64% have never invested anything, ever. While men are panic selling tech stocks, most women are not even in the game to begin with. We are sitting on the sidelines like wallflowers at a billionaire AS birthday party. This gender investment gap gets worse with age. Women invest 29% less than men, and 45% of women say lack of money is their biggest obstacle to investing. But here is what makes me want to throw my Louboutin at the wall. Only 48% of women who do invest consider themselves knowledgeable about it, compared to 59% of men. We are so busy worrying about whether we know enough that we never start building wealth. Meanwhile, research shows that when women do invest, we actually make better decisions than men. We are less likely to panic sell during market downturns, more likely to diversify our portfolios, and we trade less frequently, which means lower fees and better returns. But we are too busy being humble to capitalize on our natural advantages. But here is where it gets interesting for us smart women who refuse to be financially mediocre. The stock market has this beautiful thing called historical performance. Since 1950, the Standard & Poor 500 has been positive 79% of the time. That means roughly 4 out of every 5 years, you make money. Those are better odds than finding a financially stable man on dating apps, trust me. Women who do not invest are essentially choosing to stay poor. And choosing poverty when you could choose wealth is like choosing to wear fast fashion when you could afford couture. It makes no sense, and it is beneath you. In 2024 alone, the Standard & Poor 500 gained 23.3%. That is better than most marriages I know. The market hit new highs over 50 times last year. 50 times. Meanwhile, most women hit new lows by accepting dinner dates at Olive Garden. The retirement statistics are even more devastating. Women have 32% less saved for retirement than men. By the time we reach retirement age, the average woman has $69,000 saved, while men have $205,000. That is a $136,000 gap. $136,000. That is enough money to buy a decent car or maintain my skincare routine for a decade. Now, let me tell you something about bubbles, because I have seen plenty, including the bubble of female financial ignorance that needs to pop immediately. The Dutch had their tulip bubble in 1637. People were literally mortgaging houses to buy flower bulbs. Flower bulbs. At least when I mortgage my future for a Birkin bag, I get something that holds its value and makes other women jealous. But women mortgaging their financial futures by not investing? That is the real bubble that needs our attention. We are speculating that someone else will take care of us financially instead of building our own wealth empires. Japan had their massive bubble in the late 1980s. Their stock market crashed so hard in 1989 that it still has not fully recovered. That was 36 years ago. Imagine waiting 36 years for your investments to break even. I would rather wait that long for the perfect billionaire to propose. But waiting 36 years to start investing because you think you do not know enough? That is financial suicide with designer shoes on. Every year you delay is money you cannot get back, compound interest you cannot reclaim, and wealth you cannot rebuild. But here's the thing about American markets. They always come back stronger, just like me after every breakup with a financially inadequate man. The 1929 crash took 25 years to recover, but those who stayed invested became incredibly wealthy. The 2008 financial crisis? The market was back to new highs by 2013. Women live longer than men, 83 years versus 79, which means we need more money for retirement, not less. Yet we are saving less and starting later. This is like planning a longer vacation but packing a smaller suitcase. The math does not work, and the consequences are not cute. The secret is not timing the market. That is like trying to time when a rich man will notice you exist. Instead, you invest consistently in quality companies, just like how I consistently invest in quality skincare and designer handbags. Both appreciate over time. And let me address the elephant in the room. Women are less likely to seek financial advice than men. We will spend hours researching which mascara to buy, but will not spend 20 minutes talking to a financial advisor who could help us become millionaires. This backward priority system has got to stop. Speaking of appreciating, over time, let me tell you about compound interest. Albert Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. If you invest $100 monthly for 20 years in an index fund averaging 10% returns, you end up with about $76,000. You only put in $24,000 of your own money. The other $52,000? That is compound interest working harder than a gold digger at a tech conference. But here is the plot twist that should make every woman furious. When women do invest, we contribute a higher percentage of our income to retirement accounts than men do, 9.4% versus their contribution rate. We are more dedicated savers when we actually start, but we start too late and with too little money because of the wage gap. But the real question is not whether the market always goes up. The real question is whether you have the discipline to stay invested when it goes down, and whether you have the courage to start investing when you feel unprepared. Most people panic and sell at the bottom, just like they panic and accept the first mediocre man who shows them basic human decency. The biggest tragedy is that women who are not confident about investing often choose not to invest at all, rather than learning as they go. This perfectionist mindset is keeping us poor. You do not need to be a financial expert to start building wealth. You just need to start. The market does not care about your feelings or your confidence level. It does not care that you need money for rent next month or that you want to buy a Tesla tomorrow. The market operates on its own timeline, just like wealthy men operate on their own schedule. You have to be patient and strategic. Here is what the data tells us about successful women investors. We are more likely to do our research before investing. We hold our investments longer, which means lower fees and better returns. We diversify better than men. We are less likely to make emotional decisions during market volatility. So why are we not investing more? Because we have been conditioned to believe we are not smart enough, when the evidence shows we are actually better at it. Now, let me address gambling, because some people think the stock market is just like a casino. The only casino I frequent is Monte Carlo, and that is because the champagne is excellent and the men actually own their own planes. But seriously, gambling and investing are completely different. When you gamble, the house always has an edge. When you invest in quality companies, you own a piece of businesses that generate real profits and create real value. The only gambling happening here is women gambling with their financial futures by not investing. You are betting that inflation will not erode your savings, that Social Security will be enough, that someone else will take care of you financially. Those are terrible odds, worse than any casino game. Warren Buffett, who is actually on my list of potential lunch companions along with Elon Musk, says the stock market is a voting machine in the short run, but a weighing machine in the long run. Short-term volatility is just noise, like the opinions of broke people about my lifestyle choices. Women need to stop treating investing like it is some exclusive club we cannot join. The financial services industry has not exactly rolled out the red carpet for us. Only 15% of financial advisors are women, and many firms still assume men make all the financial decisions. But that is changing, and we need to change with it. The recent DeepSeek situation is actually a perfect example. Yes, tech stocks crashed initially because investors worried about artificial intelligence valuations. But within days, many stocks recovered as people realized that cheaper artificial intelligence actually means more companies can afford to use it, creating even more demand. Women who were not investing missed both the crash and the recovery. We were neither hurt by the volatility nor helped by the rebound. We were just sitting on the sidelines watching other people make and lose money while our own money slowly lost value to inflation. This is exactly like when a new designer releases an accessible luxury line. Initially, established luxury brands panic about competition, but then they realize that making luxury more accessible actually grows the entire market. More people get introduced to the luxury lifestyle, and many eventually upgrade to the premium brands. The financial literacy gender gap is not just about education. It is about confidence, access, and societal expectations. We have been taught that money management is masculine, that investing is risky, that we should be conservative with our finances. But conservative investing has left women broke in retirement. The key to stock market success is the same as the key to lifestyle success. You need standards, patience, and the ability to ignore short-term noise. Do not invest money you need within 5 years, just like you should not date men you would not marry. Both require long-term thinking. But here is what I want every woman watching this to understand. Your financial literacy gap is not a personal failing. It is a systemic problem that requires individual action. The system was not designed for us, but we can still win within it. Diversification is crucial. Do not put all your money in one stock, just like you should not put all your energy into one potentially broke man until his financial statements are verified. Spread your investments across different sectors, different companies, different geographic regions. This way, when one area disappoints you, like when technology stocks crash because of Chinese competition, your energy stocks or healthcare stocks might be performing well. Start with what you can afford, even if it is just $25 a month. The gender pension gap starts at 16% in our 20s, but grows to 55% by retirement. The earlier you start, the more compound interest works in your favor and the smaller that gap becomes. Index funds are your best friend if you want simple, effective investing. They automatically diversify your money across hundreds of companies. It is like having a team of financial advisors working for you at a fraction of the cost. The Vanguard Standard & Poor 500 fund has averaged about 10% annually since inception. That is better performance than most people's dating lives. Use technology to your advantage. 47% of women entrepreneurs are using social media for financial advice, with YouTube leading the way. While I appreciate the initiative, make sure you are getting advice from credible sources, not from influencers who think budgeting means buying the generic designer knockoff instead of the real thing. But remember, past performance does not guarantee future results, just like past boyfriends do not guarantee future happiness. However, the underlying principle remains the same. American companies continue to innovate, grow, and create value. The population grows, technology advances, and productivity increases. These fundamental drivers suggest the long-term trajectory remains upward. Take advantage of employer matching and retirement accounts. If your company matches your 401k contributions and you are not contributing enough to get the full match, you are literally leaving free money on the table. Free money. That is like declining a gift card to Neiman Marcus because you think you do not deserve nice things. Even with artificial intelligence disruption, even with Chinese competition, even with whatever crisis comes next, the market adapts and evolves. Companies that cannot compete get replaced by companies that can. It is natural selection for businesses, and it keeps the overall market healthy and growing. Women need to stop being so conservative with our money that we end up broke. Research shows that women keep more money in savings accounts earning practically nothing, while men invest more aggressively and build more wealth. Playing it safe financially is actually the riskiest strategy of all when you live longer and earn less over your lifetime. The most important lesson is this: time in the market beats timing the market. Just like how being consistently fabulous beats having occasional moments of looking decent. Start investing early, invest regularly, and stay invested through the ups and downs. The financial confidence gap is real, but it is also conquerable. Every successful woman investor started exactly where you are right now, knowing less than she wanted to know but starting anyway. Perfect knowledge is not a prerequisite for building wealth. Action is. Your future self will thank you, just like she will thank you for never settling for a man who cannot afford to take you somewhere nicer than Applebee's. Both decisions require short-term sacrifice for long-term luxury. And let me be crystal clear about something. The women who are successfully building wealth through investing are not necessarily the ones with the highest financial literacy scores. They are the ones who started before they felt ready, who invested before they felt confident, who built wealth while they learned. If you are serious about building wealth and joining me in the land of financial freedom, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Stop being part of the 64% of women who have never invested and start being part of the solution. I have left links to some wonderfully expensive products in my pinned comment, because shopping is also an investment in your happiness and social status. But investing is an investment in your actual future. Let me know in the comments. Women building wealth wins. Did you enjoy learning about wealth building from someone who actually lives the lifestyle you want? Give this video a like if you are ready to stop being part of the financial literacy, gender gap, and start being part of the wealth building solution. The stock market will keep going up over time, but your financial security depends on whether you are participating in that growth or watching it from the sidelines. Stop watching. Start investing. Start building. Start becoming the wealthy woman you deserve to be.